was a vote a while ago on what I should be making. I put a mud crab in it as a complete joke, but it ended up as a winner. I'll include more pictures in a video after the time lapse, and let me tell you, this has been the most tedious and hard piece of art I've ever done in my life, and let me explain why. It started like usual, with a drawing. I used the drawing to cut out all the pieces I need, and let me tell you, there were a lot. The process was rather simple. You cut one out, then trace it over, and cut one out again, and so on and so forth, up until you have all the number of parts you need. For some reason, I decided to overcomplicate things and do a balloon start as well, which makes the art a bit harder to finish, as if you do it wrong, it has a chance of falling apart. You have to add a lot of layers so it stays sturdy in one piece later down the line. Here comes the first tedious part. Since it is a crab, it has an exoskeleton, meaning I have to create every part of the limb separately, which total in a whopping 25 parts, excluding the torso. I swear crab anatomy is way too complicated for this. And I am very thankful that the mud crabs from Skyrim has one less pair of legs than their real-life counterparts. Next step is pretty simple. I cover all the parts in paper mache, the paper covered in glue kind, all 26 of them. And if I sound crabby, I can assure you I am. The crab, due to its complex anatomy, took me about 2 weeks more to finish than the other works I was working on at the time. Once that is done, I added some paper mache to emphasize the spikes that come out of its cephalothorax. There we go. And then was the time to poke some holes in the shell thing and connect its limbs with hot glue and lots of bamboo sticks. I made all the legs pretty much the same, as I didn't really want to experiment and risk having uneven stance on the crab. I wanted it to be able to stand on its own. I tried really hard to give the crab an interesting pose so it doesn't look stiff. I decided to raise the left claw, which was actually rather difficult to do in a proper way. I did the left claw a few times over, as I didn't really like the result the first few times. Since it's very early stages of the crab, it was actually quite easy to redo something, as you just rip something off and re-glue it in the correct position. After all of that was done, I added a few more layers of paper mache on the shell thing, whatever majig, to make it sturdy. I did it because if the balloon ever pops, it will have absolutely zero structural integrity, and let me tell you, it did pop in the end. I proceeded to cut out a big piece of cloth, cover it in glue, and slowly apply it to the top of the crab shell lid whatever thing. Once the cloth was in place, I used the little sharp bamboo sticks and hammered them in place. And then I got hit by even more tedious part than making the legs. The dreaded carapace. I made it mostly out of paper mache, leaving small trenches in where the creases are. I applied cloth slowly, pegged it to the crab, which took absolutely forever, because I decided to make it as detailed as I possibly could. At the end there, I couldn't really angle the little pegs in correctly, so I just stuck in the tools in the crab and call it a day. Problem solved. Whatever. One of the final and more fun parts was to add little details. The crabs in Skyrim have a lot of detail on their textures alone, which I replicated with a little bit paper mache. I actually had an amazing idea. I decided to do the barnacles on its shell, and I made a really nice and easy way of doing it. I put a plastic pearl on the tip of the needle and jammed it into the shell, then put some paper mache around it and removed the marble, leaving a perfect little barnacle shape. After that, I added a little spikes on its legs, nothing complicated, just a little bit of paper mache made pointy. First coat of paint, I covered the entire thing in a warm tone gray that will be its base. I also realized that I was being a complete idiot at this point and not filming it in HD, which I fixed right about now, sorry about that. The carapace received a lighter coat as I aimed the color to be something like tan bone. The crab received several coats, about 7 in total, each in a different tone to try to recreate the feel of the original. And just as I thought all the tedious parts were done, I was wrong. The crabs have fur. Oh joy. I took some red feathers, cut them up, stuffed them into small holes in the leg to make it have a nice line of fur. This took absolutely forever, to the point I have vowed to never do anything with fur again. Or an exoskeleton for that matter. At the end, I attached the eyes and antenna. The antenna were simple, as they were made out of fuzzy wire and altered to have a more natural segmented texture. Honestly, fuzzy wire is an amazing material to have in a pinch. Final shading and done. Here are the pictures of the final result and a video showing off the antenna. I even kind of felt cute and gave the crab a little costume. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for future time lapses and animations. And if you don't want to do it for me, do it for Yeehaw Crab and his little steed Buttons. Yeehaw, everyone!